Okay, we are here at Bell Rock, one of Sedona's well-known vortex sites, along with Cathedral Rock, Airport Mesa, and there's also another vortex by the church. There's quite a number of them here, but today we devoted all of our research here at Bell Rock. And I suspect Courthouse Butte is going to have vortex activity, and there's undoubtedly a lot of other areas here that are going to exhibit the same properties. And Bell Rock and Sedona is very well known for lots of stuff. Paranormal activity, vortex activity, portals forming here on Bell Rock. A lot goes on. But in my 24 years, I have never measured magnetically what type of energy is up here. So today, we are up here with the magnetometer and the electronics to go with it, and the recording computer and the analog to digital converter. We're going to get set up and we're going to see what type of energy is emitting from Bell Rock, at least on this side of the rock. It's pretty big. Just had one very big surge and one smaller surge. Vortex outflow.
And you only just started up the
I just
computer.
started. I'm not even recording yet. I got
Can we see it?
Equipment right here and here.
That one, I've never seen a surge that went off the screen like that.
Yeah, see, I can bring it down a little bit. Nice surge.
I told you this would be a hot spot.
You're right.
Strong reaction right there. Really strong. Look at that. It's really powerful. It's not a weak reaction at all. It's very, very strong energy. Look at that. Look at that. I wish I could go further back so I could approach it, but then, you know, I'd die. So I am on a cliff right now. Cliff edge. Every single time. It never fails. So how active is Bell Rock compared to other sites?
Extremely active. As you can see, normally a magnetometer chart goes along horizontal. It doesn't go down, it doesn't waver up. And as you can see here on Bell Rock, it goes up, it goes down. So the magnetic activity on Bell Rock is all over the place, which means there's a lot of it.
And that surge one's going down, one's going up. What does that mean?
That's an electrical discharge. This is magnetic, where it goes up. That's an outflow. That's outflow vortex. Outflow, 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 and it just continues. Look at this magnetic surge. Now right there is a huge magnetic surge, and that's an outflow. So that's magnetic energy emitting out of Bell Rock.
And this is in real time. That happened just as
That's real time. It just happened.
Oh, look, more.
Yeah, it's very active up here. The readings we are getting here at Bell Rock Vortex site so far have all been outflow magnetic energy, or what is called an outflowing vortex. And the activity is some of the strongest activity I have recorded in comparison to all of the other locations I have recorded at here in Sedona in the past 24 years. So Bell Rock is a very active place so far for positive outflowing vortex energy, the magnetic component of it. Here, in a row as an example. These are all positive outflows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. They just keep continuing. So Bell Rock is a phenomenal outflow vortex.
Do you think there's much inflow activity going on, or you can just say this is mainly...
I have not seen any inflow here. But we might go over on the other side of Bell Rock and it'll be inflowing energy, because the laws of physics state when you have a tornado-like vortex of magnetic energy leave the ground and travel up into the air, the laws of physics state it has to reconnect with the planet's magnetic field. So where it enters back in, that's called an inflowing vortex, and that might be on the other side of Bell Rock. So what I'm seeing here is positive Bell Rock energy, positive vortex outflow, and it'll reconnect to an inflow on another part of the rock.
Or it might reconnect
I need to reset this.
to Courthouse.
50 feet above her head.
Courthouse Butte, you say that's called?
It might be going over to Courthouse, yes.
That's my running theory as of right now, that this is the outflow, Bell Rock, and it's reconnecting over there at Courthouse Butte as an inflow. So someday let's test that theory out. I have always loved Bell Rock. It is a very balanced type of energy that I feel here. And I feel the most palpable sensation in my heart. Like a warm vibration encompassing my heart. And I feel kind of overwhelmed with love here. And around that way, on that side of the rock, I feel like I'm being pulled in to the ground. And around here on this side of the rock, I feel like I'm being uplifted and more energized. And Ben's been having similar sensations, right?
Yeah, I have similar feelings. When I'm over here, which is where we recorded at and recorded outflowing vortex energy, I'm more alert, I'm more awake, and I don't lose my balance as easy. Whereas if I'm over on the balanced area or more inflow where there's a lot less outflowing energy, I could sit there after a while and fall asleep. It pulls you in. You feel like you're being pulled into Bell Rock, and it's extremely relaxing. But when you're done and you go to get up, you got to watch yourself. You're so relaxed, your balance, you're kind of kitty-wampus for a little bit.
I felt dizzy when I was trying to move around over there on that other side of the rock.
Yeah, I did too. There was a point I reached until I came back over here to the outflowing energy where I thought I'd have to crawl over here instead of walking. So it messes with your equilibrium. It's a beautiful, wonderful experience, but when you decide it's time to stand up, you got to be very careful doing it because you'll be dizzy. And that's indicative. That's what happens here in Sedona at these vortex places. They're just phenomenal. I love them. Okay, we're here again at Bell Rock, and a little while ago we had all of the sensing equipment set up in one area, and there was many outflowing signatures ending up in the recording. So that's definitely an outflow vortex area. And we moved away from the equipment approximately 30 feet around Bell Rock a bit, and as we sat there, we got very relaxed, which is indicative of being in an inflowing vortex. Over at the outflow, you get very uplifted, energized, you have more energy. And over here, 30 feet away, we were feeling, I easily could have fell asleep. So we moved all of the sensing equipment to where we were sitting in the suspected inflow, and now that is recording a very stable chart. It's not intense outflow energy, which the computer recorded. It's pretty stable with a few downward spikes, which would be indicative of being at a inflowing vortex. But so far, let me take a little closer look. It's very stable. There's no outflow coming out, no positive spikes. Very stable with some very subtle inflow. We're discovering so far, and the equipment is revealing, that Bell Rock contains multiple vortex sites, some outflowing vortex energy, and others are inflowing vortex energy. So far, we are seeing both types of inflow and outflow occurring on Bell Rock. And we just recorded at 2 spots so far. There's probably multiple locations around Bell Rock where you might have outflow or you might have inflow. And because we have both inflow and outflow vortex energy being recorded here on Bell Rock, it's a very balancing effect. So if you're in an outflow, you feel very uplifted and energized. And if you go to an inflow, you become very relaxed. So Bell Rock so far appears to be a great place to do both. It balances you. You have outflowing energy and inflowing energy. So there's a nice balance between the two. And we felt that emotionally too.
And physically.
And physically, yes.
I mean, you had trouble even standing up over here on this inflow site.
When I was
you.
on the inflow and I had to stand up, I had to do it very gradually to keep my balance.
Why do you think the inflow vortex sites make you so dizzy and discombobulated?
Well, because the inflowing vortex has a pulling effect on you. And as I said, it makes you feel like you're being pulled into the earth or into the rock. And you you disconnect from what's going on around you. You're going within rather than being in the present or being in the moment. It's a good place for introspection because you feel like you're being pulled into the earth. And in a sense, you lose touch with the reality of your surroundings. So it takes a bit when it's time to get up and to leave. I've already laid on an inflowing vortex. I stayed there 15 minutes, and when I went, okay, I got to get up, I could not get up. I had to roll over onto my hands and knees and gradually push myself back up and finally stand up and catch my equilibrium again. And that's what inflowing vortices do. And that's what makes them so good for doing inner work, because you have the feeling of being pulled into the earth. Therefore, you could go within yourself and do introspective work. Phenomenal place. The readings we were getting at the outflow, as I've said, were very dominant, very pronounced, leaving no doubt whatsoever that over in the first area was an outflowing vortex location. We moved the equipment 30 feet and we were getting more indications of inflowing vortex energy, but we were also getting some outflow indicators. And based on the readings we were getting over here and the way we were feeling sitting in this location, we were located somewhere in between the outflow area and the inflow area. So now we're going to move it around a little bit and try to find strictly the inflowing. In other words, this place right here where I'm standing has a little bit of both inflow and outflow, and we're going to go further around the rock and try to locate strictly inflow.
And that would explain why this area makes me feel so balanced.
Yes.
And just around there I feel kind of manic, not in a bad way, but just like I want to start dancing. And then the further you go this way, you just feel like taking a nap.
Yes.
So let's go record the nap site.
Sounds good. If you'll see tomorrow when we go to the inflow on Mark's Draw, it'll be very, very quiet like this, maybe even quieter. I see a couple outflows. Here's a little bit of an outflow. Here's a little bit. Little bit of outflow and then inflow. The primary focus point for the inflow could even be on the other side of the rock.
Yeah, it could
or
be
it
the
could be Butte. Could be Courthouse Butte.
Huh. That was my original theory.
It could be. It's
That this was an
possible.
outflow and that's an inflow. But the further as we get on this side of the rock, the more inflow we feel because
Yes.
we're getting closer to that energy over there.
Yes. So we're set up in the third location now. Here's some inflowing. We got a little bit more inflowing vortex energy. For the most part, I'm seeing a little bit of both. I'm seeing a little bit of outflow, a little bit of inflow, and this whole area over here from the second location to the third might be the midway point, and in reality, the outflow magnetic energy is going all the way over to Courthouse Butte, and that's where the main focal point or center of the inflowing vortex would be located. There's nothing that says magnetic energy emitting out of the ground one spot can travel hundreds and hundreds and thousands of feet before it reconnects. So Courthouse Butte, even though we're seeing some inflowing energy here, Courthouse Butte might be the focal point for inflow, and Bell Rock the focal point for outflow energy.
And that would explain why the further we go towards Courthouse Butte on Bell Rock,
the more inflow,
relaxed.
Right, the more relaxed and the more inflow activity we're seeing. Right here in this spot number 3, it's very balanced. There's not a tremendous amount of activity going on. So this area here, area 2 and area 3, might be the middle point, the balancing point between the outflowing energy and where it reconnects in the inflow, which very possibly is Courthouse Butte.
And that's weird because before we even noticed that we were feeling different effects on opposite sides of the rock, I said before we came over to this side of the rock, oh, if this is an outflow here, that's going to be the inflow there. And you said, well, maybe, but you know, the more...
It's possible. It's just like being up on Kachina Rock. Kachina Rock has 2 spires. And when I measure there, one of the spires emits positive magnetic vortex energy, and the second spire is the inflowing negative vortex energy. So if you have a balance in between the 2 spires, where you have both positive and negative, some interesting phenomena can happen there. And I have heard that people have seen orbs, plasma orbs, what I suspect is plasma, emit from Kachina Rock between the 2 spires, because you have a spire with positive outflowing vortex energy, and the second spire is where it reconnects inflowing. So in between the 2 could be creating the ideal conditions for people to be seeing orbs and plasma energy emit from Kachina Rock in between the 2 spires. That might be what we're experiencing here.
And to expand on that story, one of the orb stories I heard between the 2 spires where 3 orbs shot up out of the red rock in between the spires, up into the air, started circling around until it became just a line of light, a circular pulsing line of light spinning around. And I think they went back down into the rock afterwards.
Yeah. An intense release of energy. As I have said, several things create the condition for plasma to form. And plasma would take the form of orbs or glowing spheres in the sky. One of them is electricity, and one of them is current, magnetism, or intense heat. We already know Bell Rock, Courthouse Butte, and Kachina Rock has intense magnetic activity, both inflowing and outflowing, so they are the ideal locations for plasma to form, and that plasma would take the shape of the balls of light going up in the air, spinning around magnetically, turning into a line, and then going back into the rock when the energy subdues. Very possible. Analysis of bell rock outflowing vortex energy, magnetic vortex energy. And as you can see, we're in the outflowing vortex location on bell rock. Here's what I call sudden magnetic impulses. Here's another, here's another, here's another, here's another. And when you see these little spikes that are up and down, that's going positive, it's also going negative, that's electrical discharge, probably due to the quartz that is buried inside of bell rock, and due to the pressure it's under from all the weight of the red sandstone, it gives off piezoelectric effect, and that creates these little electrical bursts. But then again, here we have a magnetic outflow of energy. We have more. We were set up in a very active area, very wonderful outflowing magnetic energy. If you look at this chart recorded at my home where there is no vortex activity, it's relatively flat. Amplitude or signal strength, if you want to call it, it's pretty small, and it remains flatline. It's not up, it's not down, there's no magnetic surges, positive direction or negative direction. It's pretty quiet, and this will give you a good idea. Now here's a little bit of magnetic activity, but it's very minute, and that's normal. You're going to have that. There's a magnetic field surrounding our planet, and magnetic activity is going to vary. But for the most part, as you can see, it's pretty quiet, not a lot going on.
We've compared the bell rock readings to readings from a non-vortex location that we're using as a baseline. So with the rest of this video, I'm going to go ahead and fast forward through the rest of the bell rock readings so you can see everything that we got.